Today I'm going to be giving you a live demo of our Lightning Node Bitcoin ATM. To give a brief overview of what it is exactly, so the function it serves is that you can put in any USD denomination coin except for $1 coins, and it'll give you the ability to withdraw the equivalent amount in Bitcoin. And the way that this is built is there's sort of three components. You have the hardware that interfaces the physical world, you have the cloud component, as well as the Lightning node. So the Lightning node is actually the sort of nucleus of all this, which we can use to generate the transactions and actually complete the withdrawal. The cloud handles a lot of the interfacing with the Lightning node, as well as generating the QR code for withdrawal. And this physical system, all it does is receive your coins and display the QR code. So I'm going to walk you through step by step, and as we go through step by step, I'll explain what each thing does. So if you take a look here, this is an OLED that displays the Mode 0 menu, which is the start menu, and all it says is, "Welcome to LN Node ATM, press button to start." Now I want to mention that this OLED functions on an SPI connection through the Raspberry Pi. If I were to press the button, we're now in Mode 2. And what Mode 2 does is that it allows you to insert your coins and it'll increment the amount. So let me show you. See, there you go. I'll do it again. So what's actually happening here is that when I put in the code, it's hitting the solenoid motor, which is hooked up to its own proprietary circuit, and the load cell below the Raspberry Pi, which you cannot see, detects the weight, and depending on the weight, it categorizes it into one of a few categories of coins, which is pennies, nickels, dimes, or quarters. It increments the amount and then releases it. Let's do that one more time. And as you can see, it's working as intended. So next, if I were to press this button, we'll go into the final mode, which is withdrawal. So when I click that button, what happens is that our physical system communicates with our cloud instance in order to generate the QR code. The physical system sends the amount into the cloud, and this is really the novelty of our device. Not only can it deal with these small amounts, but also generally the Bitcoin network is pretty slow, so it doesn't work for these quick microtransactions as well as we'd like it to. And that's the real novelty and bread and butter of this. So Jules will also explain a little bit more about our cloud component and about what's really going on to produce this withdrawal code.
Yeah, so let me say that one more time. Here what we're leveraging the Lightning Network. It is known as the primary scaling solution for the Bitcoin network, and it allows people to transact in micro payment amounts instantly, as opposed to waiting for the usual 10 minutes on the Bitcoin blockchain. And so our cloud component is split into two big components. We have the first one is the LN URL server. I call it the LN URL server because it implements the LN URL protocol that talks to the phone wallets in order to allow them to withdraw the Bitcoin. And then the second component is a small Bitcoin Lightning node on a Raspberry Pi that I have running at home that is in charge of accepting requests for payments and paying them on the Lightning network to the phone wallets. And so what we have here on my screen, we have the logs here that show the operation of the LN URL server. And then on the top right, we have what I call the backend client. And so this is the piece of the software that is in charge of talking to the Bitcoin node, the Bitcoin Lightning node, to process the payments. Where the LN URL server is more of the front end server, and this is in charge of talking to the ATM and the phone wallets. And so what Yousuf is going to do right now, he is going to scan the QR code. The phone is going to ping our server and say, "Hey, please give me Bitcoin." The server is going to talk to the phone wallet to make sure all the parameters are correct. Once all the parameters have been validated, it's going to talk to my 2-hour Lightning node and say, "Hey, please pay this user this amount of Bitcoin." And then in a few seconds, hopefully, Yousuf will receive the equivalent amount of Bitcoin, the equivalent amount of
In Bitcoin.
US dollars in Bitcoin.
And as a final point, the reason why we split our Lightning node onto a separate Raspberry Pi than our physical device is if someone were to try to break into this, or just honestly just steal the entire device, they wouldn't get anything out of it. Our main component is protected in a remote location. So now I've opened up my Moon wallet, just so that I can actually withdraw the funds, and this isn't some bogus code. But in reality, you could use any software wallet or any hot wallet of your choice. So I'm going to scan the QR code. And, sorry, it's a little bit out of focus. And as I do so, you can now see that it is receiving. And it has incremented the correct amount onto my account. And that is our Lightning Node Bitcoin ATM. Thank you for watching our demo.